Hi, I am going to do a little video on how I get designs for magnetic polishes. One of the polishes I'm going to use is actually going to be released tomorrow. This is Bees Knees Lacquer. It's called He's Mine. It's a magnetic polish and part of the radio rental collection that's coming out tomorrow. So this being magnetic, my swatches has a really cool design, and I'm just going to show you how I get the design. So I actually have these magnets that have a design on a piece like this paper. I don't recall where I bought these from, but I've had them for many years, so this is what I use to get the design, and I actually create decals in order to retain the design, so I'm not sitting there with my finger, especially because I have curvature in my fingernails when they get really long, so it makes it harder for me to hold it and get a full design. So what I actually have done is I have other mats like this, and I just cut out the mat and get a finger and this way I can kind of just place it over the magnet like this, and what I do is I put a sticky base coat first because it helps the decal be pliable, so when I go to peel it, I can move it more, because sometimes polishes can get a little too brittle and they can break. So this is what I use, but what I've done is I actually, since I have a bunch of these, I actually remove the magnetic from the plastic part by peeling off the sticker, and then I just take the magnet off, and then I just replace the sticker onto the magnet. So this way I have the ability to use my existing mat that I use on my tabletop, and then I just pull it and just put it underneath where I'm going to do the design. So since I already laid down a sticky base coat already, I just put the magnet there, and then what I can do is I can just take my polish, which my hands are sticky, so okay, and then this way I just take my polish. Let me make sure it's a little mixed, and then I just take the polish and then I just apply it over the sticky base coat, and you can see already that it's creating the design on the polish. You can already see it. So I let it dry a little bit, and then I'll put a second coat, and then once it's done, then I just take an orange stick, and I just use one end, and then I just slowly start pushing the decal off. And once I do that, then I use the same sticky base coat, which I've been using this Geekish glitter lacquer as my sticky base coat, and I will apply it to my nail, and then I will take this decal and I'll stick it on a stamper, because I find that using a stamper helps give you a little more control when you apply it onto your nail. So I'll grab a stamper, and then I'll just place the decal upside down onto it, and then this way I can just kind of push it on. I also will use a makeup brush, or not a makeup brush, I'm sorry, a makeup sponge, and I will help to push it, but I also use a silicone tool as well to kind of push down on the decal. If I find that a side doesn't adhere well, I'll lift it a little bit and I'll add a little more sticky base coat, and then I just kind of try and smooth it out. And it takes a little time to do that process because, you know, you're trying to get an even and smooth application. You're trying to avoid bubbling as much as possible. So that's what I kind of do to help get a nice look of the polish. So as you can see, I'm just putting my second coat here, and I always try to oversize it because of the fact that I have really long nails, and I want to make sure that I can get the full length of my nails. So because my nails are long and then they have a curve. And so if you have shorter nails, this will be so much easier. But when you have really long nails, it really becomes difficult. I have a gel overlay on mine because I don't want them to break. But when I try and do it, I have a hard time because especially with my ends because they curve so much. So it's a little more work for me. But if you have like shorter nails, it's not as challenging. And then I just have my little scissors. I usually use like these cuticle nippers. Like I have my crappy pair like these, or that I use for these type of things, and I'll trim it once the decal is over it. I do some trimming down, and once I trim it, and I've had it adhere to my nail, then what I do is I just kind of clean up with my cleanup brush and some acetone, and I'll just clean up the sides here. You know, I just clean up the sides. I'll clean underneath wherever I can and get it clean. And once that's done, then I just add top coat and I'm done. And then I'll have my cool thing. So you can really see, and you see how it really pulled the shimmer out of this polish, because this one is, you see the color, you can see the shimmer in here, but you see how it really pulls that red shimmer through. So I really like this technique, and actually it is Bentminddesigns that actually has she's a great resource for magnetic polishes. Actually, this was where I got the idea from, so I just wanted to show a video. But she, if you go to her IG page, she has a lot of different techniques of how she does her magnetic polishes. So it's a great technique for those who are struggling. And just keep in mind that because it's a magnetic polish, it will disperse. I mean, that's just the nature of magnetics. But you know, I like the decal because once it dries, it kind of holds this design for sure pretty well. But you're always going to have disbursement. That's just the reality. But I usually will leave the magnet underneath so that it'll kind of hold the design as best as possible. But it's inevitable, it's going to die. That's why I use a sticky base coat, because if you let it sit for like a full day, you'll probably have less disbursement because of the fact that you've kept the magnet there the entire time and then you top coat it. So I usually do that. But as a swatcher, I don't really have the luxury of taking that much time. So I let it dry a little bit and long enough for me to be able to peel it up, put it on, but it'll disperse. But you could leave it and then, put on your nails. And that's it.